PixelJunk Radio, episode 14.
Yeah,
I'm Ariel Angelotti, and with me are Dylan Cuthbert.
Hello. I was just gulping my beer.
Duncan Flett.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon.
And Jamin Kessler.
Whatever time.
Recognize, bitches.
What?
I don't even know what that
I don't even know.
Comma, bitches, right?
Yeah.
I got
Did I
that
pause
part.
enough?
Yeah.
I thought I had a sufficient pause in the. Okay.
Okay, Jamin's from Jersey, by the way, if you didn't know that.
So Duncan missed out on our last one, right?
Yeah.
Apparently, yeah.
Gary Coleman.
Yeah, Gary Coleman came
Really
on.
good to have you back.
That's right.
He's just an unrealistic model of what people expect males to look like, with his like dreamy chiseled chin and his like soft sandy blonde hair that you just want to run your
I hear he
fingers
shaves
through.
his chest as well.
Oh my god, smooth like a baby's ass.
Nice. 3 pound cock.
Yo,
Well, you probably can say that.
he's dreamy.
We did just.
Yeah. You have a lot of notions as to what you can and can't say in the
And they don't make sense.
Yeah, no,
Like,
no,
she'll
no.
come up with vajazzling, but
Yeah,
you
that's
can't say.
No, well, that was initially pretty inappropriate for the podcast, but because it was so funny, we decided, okay, let's
that's
just
cool.
make it
Let's keep
explicit.
it.
That's
Yeah.
sexist. You
Let's
can
just
talk about
make it
vajazzles,
explicit.
but you can't talk about a 3-pound cock.
No,
I mean, that's just weird, isn't
That's
it? I don't
extremely-
understand.
Hail to
I don't
the
understand the
bee.
logic.
Have you seen those?
Hail
I know.
to the-
I
Hail to the
think-
what?
The commercial
The
I put the
Hail to the
YouTube ones.
Oh, those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Duncan, you saw those too?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
God.
pretty great, right?
They're great.
Yeah.
I don't see what the problem is with those. They're
To the
fine.
V.
Okay, so up on this episode, we have
Yeah.
another wonderful edition of Duncan Disorderly. Since Duncan is back,
Hello.
he can take the reins, talk about what's been going on around the office, mischievous things,
Around
quite
Kyoto.
possibly things involving cheese, quite possibly. We also are going to be talking about breaking into the games industry,
We are.
whether it's in it's.
You mean what to steal
In
things?
Japan.
It's just like
no.
chucking a
Yeah,
rock
yeah.
through the window.
It should be, well, I mean, back in
Shouldn't we be
America
teaching
too.
people that? I think that's for worse than bad words, isn't it?
Yeah.
How
The
can you
code
break
to the
into
Q
a
game
game
security lock.
Yes.
That was not my intent. And we also have a Shooter 2 game code giveaway contest announcement.
Yay.
So stay tuned for more information about how to enter into that.
All this stuff we give away.
I know.
seriously, right?
We're so nice, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
Pay for it like normal.
Yeah, I mean, they all just go to the one fan who listens to our podcast.
Yeah.
Frodo!
That's cool. He's making
Actually,
some money
you know
selling
what?
the codes on eBay.
I don't think Frodo's ever received anything yet.
Oh, really?
We'll have to
Yeah.
fix that.
Because Austin Trees won one of
Oh,
our
okay.
t-shirts at one time. There was also, I mean, we've had several kind of recurring fans who have gotten special stuff,
Right.
but I don't think
we have
Frodo-
given Frodo anything
Yeah,
apart from
we
abuse.
haven't. But
We should-
Yeah, we just
Cool
abuse
guy.
give
it.
him a brush with fame, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that works. So I guess Duncan.
Yeah, let me
Take
give you
it
the
away.
latest updates on
Yeah.
what's happening now.
Yeah.
So,
The temperature is.
pretty much every time we do this, Jamie will mention cheese in some shape
Yeah.
or form. What is it with you and cheese, man?
It's awesome.
It's my cocaine. Is the best way I could.
Okay.
I just kind of I fiend for it.
Yeah.
There was this one time, just to give you like the degree of the issue. I went to one of those those things you go to buy things in bulk. You know, you end up walking out with like 18 boxes of Pop-Tarts because you get it at like half the price.
Yeah.
So they had these bricks of cheese, like roughly, the size of my head in width. I mean, we're talking about this big.
Yeah.
And I bought it, and on the car ride home, I'm like, oh, I wonder if it's any good. So I kind of like unwrapped it, and I'm like holding it in my hand, and I'm like a candy bar. Just like took a bite out of it. I'm like, oh, that was really good. And then, long story short, it's 20-minute drive home. There's no cheese by the time I get to the house, and the funny outcome is that I couldn't poop for a week.
Oh,
I can imagine, yes.
nice.
Yeah, but
Good
I'm sure you can even sleep. Or you get these really lucid dreams.
yeah. I just,
So you stayed a load of cheese now. We're eating
Yeah,
cheese.
we're
this
eating
week. Well,
cheese.
actually, James eating cheese. We're watching him eat cheese. And you're on a flight tomorrow, so you've got like 12 hours of sitting on a flight,
Yeah, it's
waiting
gonna
for
be-
your
it's
ass
gonna
to
be great.
explode.
Jamin is talking at Seagraph.
Yeah.
Although by the time you hear this-
explain what SIGGRAPH is for.
It'll be over.
Yeah. So it's this thing where people interested in computer graphics go and say crap about the research that they're doing, and they use fancy words to make it sound like it's more impressive than it really is, and they have really long paper titles and
So you've got the best of the game industry plus the best of those Pixar dudes and that sort of thing.
yeah, exactly.
lots
So
of
it's not just games;
Right.
it's also
Yeah.
just
Okay.
hardcore CG render farm pixel pusher jockeys kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jockeys.
Right.
Okay.
Good stuff. And you're presenting on...
Did a cow just go by outside?
That did sound like a mobile cow.
I wonder if that picked up on the mic.
That's
I
right.
think it was a moped going faster than it should be.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard the monks that are outside that walk by?
Yeah.
What do they say? Because
a noise,
Kayla and I,
isn't it?
if you listen to it, it genuinely sounds like they're calling us assholes.
Really?
Because they chant, they're like,
Even-
asshole.
Really?
And I talked to Kaylin about
they
it.
say-
Kaylin thought the exact same thing.
I thought it was more like a sort of sound.
No, those are the ones that walk by,
Oh, yeah,
where you
yeah.
see them walking in the morning, but around 4 in the afternoon,
Oh, it's
there's
another-
just
okay,
one
yeah,
guy
okay.
who just goes by and calls everyone an asshole.
Like that, yeah.
Yeah. Is that actually a monk?
It might be. It might just be some guy who thinks we're assholes.
Aren't they
just
just like,
like
isn't
sitting
it the guy
outside our window.
selling like sweet potatoes or something?
Oh, the Yakimo guy. No, the Yakimo guy is different.
You could hear that. Oh, so
You try to do the Akimo.
I can't do it. My friend Carolina, she's like,
Yakimo is a it's a sweet potato or a yam. Is it yam or sweet potato?
They're different. They're actually different,
Yeah,
aren't
they?
they're slightly different.
It's
I forget
like
which one it is.
red skin, yellow interior, right?
and sweet. as
Yeah,
well.
and
yeah.
then like kind of they roast it.
Yeah, under
And-
pressure though
yeah,
as well, right?
and yeah, I don't know how exactly. I'm not.
Under pressure.
I think that's where the things go...
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, because it makes a
Yeah,
whistling
yeah,
sound.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, but
They are
it's
very good.
basically the Japanese equivalent of an ice cream truck, right?
Yeah.
Because like in America at least, the ice cream trucks would
That's
come
it.
by and it'd be like,
yeah.
do, 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 do. Like,
You don't get that here.
and instead of sugary sweets in Japan we have tubers.
Yeah,
That's awesome, and it's good.
that's
You have
right.
what?
Tubers.
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 Tubers. The potato family is referred to as tubers in North
Oh,
America.
okay.
Thing. Yeah,
didn't know that either.
it's a botanical. It's a botanical.
What the hell is she
No,
talking
well,
about?
it's a botanical
Two
term,
tops.
actually. It's any kind of like.
You have
vegetable-
Tudors. Oh, the old British royal families. we have them to eat in Japan.
Tubers, yeah.
Or tumors, maybe.
Yeah,
Tubers,
yeah.
One of the
tubers, people who ride the tube.
Yeah, tubers.
There you
yeah.
go.
Well,
I think Dylan's going to talk about tube riding later.
yeah.
am?
You talk about that
Yeah.
later, because the internet is a series of tubes. But actually,
What?
can you talk about the cheese?
Can we quote that? The internet is a series of tubes.
Here's a tube.
Do you know? Oh,
Tube
no, that
fest.
was a famous quote
Oh,
from
from
an
what?
American politician.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh.
we'll send you a movie.
So I don't
It's hilarious.
follow.
And that's the problem.
Hilarious.
If you don't have, if you have net neutrality, then the tubes will get full, and you'll stuff a mail into one end, but nothing will come out the other
That's
end.
what she said.
Yeah, and apparently the internet is not a dump truck.
It's not
It's a series of tubes. Yeah.
This is serious.
Oh, okay.
I see.
Makes
So we
a lot
have
of
this
sense.
wonderful cheese that we're eating now.
Yeah.
So this was. We didn't cook up the cheese, Jamin and I, but
Yeah.
we did cook up a plan to eat the cheese.
No, I just want to do a little disclaimer here.
Okay.
That to the two of you who
Right.
are unaware of where this cheese came from,
I'm worried now because I eat a piece.
right, by listening to what we're about to say, if you
right.
continue to eat the cheese, you become complacent in the crime.
Oh, okay.
Complicit?
Complicit.
Complicit?
Complacent
Complicit.
is not.
I think.
Yeah.
Well, we're already complacent.
You become complicit in the crime. So you agree this
We're
is cool.
complacently complicit.
There
So
you
Wesley,
go.
you didn't pull this out your bum, did you?
No.
It's not
that
ass
really worried
cheese.
there.
It's not my ass
cheese.
cheese.
Right.
So-
it's not your ear cheese either, is it? I hope? Or any other part of your body.
No.
Okay.
So before I left for E3, I noticed there was this wheel of Gouda in the
Isn't
refrigerator.
it Gouda?
Gouda.
It's Gouda in English. It's
Gouda.
Gouda in Japanese.
Gouda.
Gouda.
It's not Gouda.
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 It's pronounced Gouda, right?
Gouda.
Yeah.
I thought Gouda.
What? You
So now we
pronounce
have
it-
3 different
So
pronunciations of
Americans
the
pronounce
word.
it Gouda.
It's Dutch, so Dutch people,
Dutch people say Gouda.
give us a shout.
Yeah,
Okay,
let
yeah.
us know
Yeah,
the
that's-
Well,
real
that
answer.
could be the
Isn't
case.
Frodo Dutch? Frodo.
No, his cousin's Dutch. My Dutch younger cousin.
Well,
yeah.
we're learning
Doesn't he
about
have
his
a
cousin.
dentist friend in Spain?
No.
Oh, no, next.
My radiologist.
Oh, that was
Radiologist.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, mixing people up.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the radiologist?
No.
You'll
Listen
hear
to
it the next
episode,
Oh, you should
PixelJunk
listen.
Radio episode 13.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It was amusing.
We should insert a clip from that as a flashback.
Okay. Insert flashback here.
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
So,
That is a good idea. We haven't had flashbacks.
We've never had a
That's
flashback.
a new technique.
We should be like, like music in the background. As we
Did they have that in podcasts?
not
Maybe we should
usually.
patent
Back to
that.
a
We should
yeah.
patent that.
oh god.
We should patent it.
Oh god.
So I learned the other day that Microsoft has patented customizable smileys.
I saw that. Yeah.
Get out.
Yeah, like in 2005 or something.
Someone has a patent on toast.
It's ridiculous. Though. That's
listeners.
recent.
Taking
No,
this
no,
one.
that was not so recent.
There's a recent one that kind of outdoes that.
The
toast
one, okay.
It's
Like
like
taking
another
a
toast.
slice of bread and grilling it to a certain point where it's X brownness, and that's
And anyone who's listening to
By
this,
heat.
even if you're not American, you should listen to This American Life. They did a recent episode about patents, and it was really, really interesting. And yeah, you should listen to that.
No, it's very
really
good.
Actually, I don't know if this is a little bit too nerdy for the podcast, but
I don't think anything's too nerdy.
No.
Unless you're talking about like the SBUs.
yeah, so it's pretty too nerdy for the podcast.
Okay.
But there's in computer science, there's a data structure called the linked list, which has been around since the dawn of time, and just last year someone randomly patented it.
That's nice of them.
Yeah, that was really.
What does that get them though? I mean, does that get them income if someone? I mean, how?
They can sue like a company
easily.
Okay.
Yeah, that is using that same.
But any judge
information that's matched
wouldn't
with
they
the
just
patent.
throw that out?
but the other
You'd
side
think
has
so,
to pay
but-
for lawyers.
Yeah.
So a
it's
lot of people
they'd
go,
rather
well,
just
shall we
settle?
pay for lawyers
So you just
or shall we
settle.
just pay like $100,000?
She should sue for just a little bit less than what the lawyer fees would be for
that's
the
what they
other.
do. That's what they
gosh.
do. Yeah.
So yeah, but I'd recommend.
insane.
It's horrible. You should
This
you should
American.
listen to that
It was really
that
good.
article on is it sort of NPR. Right?
Yeah, it was an NPR. Yeah, but you can get it on
American
the
Life.
This American Life.
I want to go home and
podcast.
paint some shit.
We
It's
should.
really good.
Yeah.
It's really
But
good.
then
Oh, sorry. So we go back to the cheese.
Yeah.
Cheese.
Complicit and complacent cheese.
Yes.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay,
So Dutch cheese.
Back before E3, I noticed the wheel of Gouda that was in the refrigerator. I was like, oh,
Gouda,
someone
yeah.
bought a wheel of Gouda. And that looks really delicious. I wonder who got it. And then I left for E3. I come back 2 weeks later because I took some time off after E3. And I noticed that it's still
This is your
there.
imaginary boyfriend?
No, it's not.
There's still Gouda there. Yes.
So,
Well, the imaginary boyfriend might have put it in the fridge
oh, my imagine.
quite
oh.
often. Yeah.
Yeah, he's quite
Okay.
cheesy.
Yeah.
Okay, so I come back and it's still there, and I'm thinking, what's the expiration date on this? Because if it's like close, then I want to take it and I want to eat it. If like no one else notices it. So I check, and apparently it's like November. The expiration date is November.
For this year.
No, so yeah,
Last
this year.
year? Oh, this year, okay, yeah,
thank
This
God.
year's just
There's still
apparently.
plenty of time.
Apparently, an
Still the worry on your
uncut
face.
wheel of Gouda cheese can last
Yeah.
a long time
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
refrigerator. So I show Jamin. I call Jamin over. So this is where you come on.
Okay, right.
I'm horrible at telling stories.
Right.
So.
So Ariel is what you would call a good person with morals.
Yes. Yeah.
So I take one look at the cheese and I'm like, we're f***ing eating it right now. Just put it in my mouth. We're eating it right now. And she's like, no.
It had no
you
name
should-
on it then?
It had no name on it.
well,
No name.
Because the company refrigerator, if you
Yeah.
don't put your name on the stuff, that's
free
it.
game.
It's free
Yeah.
game. Yeah.
Oh.
I'll be right back.
No.
No, it's true though. If you don't, it can be thrown out at will.
No, but this thing was in the fridge for just weeks, probably months. And just
Really?
no one touched
Yeah.
it.
That's weird.
Yeah.
It was before E3, and it's still in there now. Only
Really?
it's in our tummies.
Yeah.
We're
Right.
eating it right
This old
now.
with this old Gouda.
Yeah.
This-
So
I bet it's like Ricardo or
I don't know whose it is, but
Pepe.
it doesn't matter anymore because they forgot about it, and now it's ours.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm gonna have this like.
Well, thank you, Wiki Answers.
Yeah.
So if you're a
Because
Q Game
it's,
staffer who leaves cheese in the fridge and you're wondering where it went,
Yeah.
now you know, you
Yeah.
sucker.
Suckers.
maybe you should just remove it from the fridge and put it somewhere so they don't. Even if they went to look for it, they'll think they'll think to themselves, maybe I did eat it.
No, I can't
Yeah.
do that.
No,
I
forget
couldn't
about
do
it.
that. We waited.
If they
we
find
waited
it-
months though.
No,
We
but
waited months.
if they find a half-eaten Gouda in
That's
in
suspicious.
there, it's suspicious.
Yeah.
But if they don't find anything, then
That's why you gotta leave no trace.
I just
Exactly,
laughed
you
into
do.
my.
Ninja.
you have
Just
to
in and out,
clean it
no
out.
trace.
You have to clean it
Yeah.
out.
And then
Forensically.
That's right.
Duncan's had
And then kill
discovery.
everyone.
and kill everyone.
Yeah.
So Gouda is the common mispronunciation. More approximate to the Dutch is to
Mispronunciation.
pronounce it. Mispronunciation.
Mispronunciation.
I mean, it's pronunciation. I apologize.
Yeah, no.
More approximate to
English
the
people
Dutch.
say English people say pronunciation, don't they? That's
Is
the same
to-
thing.
I
is
looked
to-
that up on the internet, and
I think it must be.
apparently that's not
It must be the
case.
American
to
internet you look
pronounce
stuff
it.
on. Pronounce it. Yeah, yeah.
Howda. But you need the phlegm. So
Did you say
howda.
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 Actually, the Dutch do have a bit of a problem with
The Dutch.
yeah, la la la.
Yeah, that's why,
Yeah.
Howda. So apparently, you're Dutch people. I apologise. I'm butchering up the
Yes,
language, but
because
that's what
they-
it is. But if I went to a British delicatessen, I said, "Excuse me, can I have some howda, please?" They
Yes.
They look at you very
it'd
strangely.
be weird.
And but then they turn around and say, "Yes, sir. It's absolutely delicious.
Our friends in that area of the
It's the
world.
bomb."
Keep listening. We hope we make up for it. in
Yeah.
The Dutch area of
cheese.
the world.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
We have a great Dutch
Wooden
person at
shoes
Q Games,
and-
don't we?
We do.
He wears wooden shoes. He has a little windmill on his desk.
Oh, is it Van Brooks?
No, I don't know. But it's yes. It's actually Yesy though.
If you say it with an accent,
Oh, so no
say it
way.
with an
That makes
accent, it
sense.
sounds official.
That makes sense.
But he kind of lets people call him Jesse.
Eat is yes.
Yeah.
Eat is good.
And he's like 6
That's a
foot,
Muppet.
6 foot tall. Right?
That's Sweden though, isn't it? It's not,
I thought,
they're not the same place.
is this like Finland, a
Americans
city in
looking
Sweden or
at
something?
Europe, you're just like,
Yeah, they're going, oh, it's a bit of a jigsaw.
Yeah.
They probably think it's like the difference between like, I don't know, like Texas and New Mexico or something.
Yeah, France looks like a boot. And
Yeah, France and Italy, they're the same
France
country.
is like a pair.
Thank you, France, for your cheese. They're from us.
Do you know where Portugal is?
I've never even heard of it.
Yeah,
It's-
Are you serious?
It sounds like you're mispronouncing pork chop.
Where would you
drop
put
them?
Portugal?
Where would you drop the bombs?
What? Yeah.
I think Americans, I can't say most, I doubt most, but a lot of Americans would know this because we
Really?
focus on a lot of European history in
I
school.
must know, I get fuzzy on Eastern Europe.
Not in my school.
Seriously?
Never
What about
did any European history.
that little country that's in between
France and
France
Spain.
and Spain? Yeah.
Andorra.
Andorra.
Yeah,
that's
but
pretty
it's a
weird.
principality.
I thought there was
So
like
think
a
it's,
like a river between France and like a lake or something.
I'm sure there are several lakes. Yeah, and several rivers.
It's kind of like...
Is there anything else you want to tell us about Europe? Like,
Oh yeah. Let's see. What else do I know about Europe?
what's France famous for?
Obnoxious people and not showering.
Well,
And
not
not showering.
showering. That is actually it is, and the French will actually tell you that.
Yeah.
So, like,
Laziness. Like, oh my
The
God,
French will tell you
we
that
have to
as
work
well.
until we're 40 and we have to work 3 hours a week. Holy crap, the world's gonna end.
there was that quote, wasn't there, on BBC?
Yeah.
From that French person saying that.
The guy, yeah,
It was
he's
just so funny.
he just has the balls to get on camera and be like, I have worked until I was 50 years old. I think I should not have to work no more. Oh my God. I'm thinking I'm like,
He's probably got
dude,
like half of his life left, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the French are the second longest living people in the world, right?
Yeah.
Probably because they don't work.
yeah.
Chill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They offset all the cheese eating.
So they work till they're 50 and then they rely on the state for the next 49 years or so.
Yeah.
It must be heartbreaking.
Yeah.
That sounds like a nice deal to me, though.
Relying on the state. Well, no, they're complaining because they won't, well, you know, the state can't afford to do that.
Yeah.
Won't be a
Then
state, right?
Yes.
That is a problem.
This rate.
I mean, you're
Yeah.
talking about people working for 30 years of their living lives, and the rest is just fully funded.
Yeah.
So it means you've got to earn a ton in that. You pay a lot of taxes.
First 20 years, you just have fun,
Yeah.
and then get drunk in a few bars and
University's all probably paid for as
stuff.
well.
30 years, you kind of sit at a desk for a bit.
Yeah.
And then you just hit the bars again. So, all right,
And
that's
it's-
a pretty good deal.
It's not even like Sweden, which has like 50% tax
Sweden.
rate.
Oh, it's
Sweden.
Sweden. Yeah.
Sweden.
Jamie has a few Swedish
Swedish.
friends recently. So.
Yeah, I've made a couple Swedish friends.
Yeah.
I just
They weren't Mathieu's.
can I say this without butchering his name? Like it's spelled Johan, but like when you pronounce it, it's like Yuan or something like that.
Johan,
No, Yuan.
You on?
Yuan.
Oh.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Been the smartest programmer I've ever met in my life, hands down.
Seriously?
But just hard to say his name.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Why hot? Good
He
stuff.
like probably crush me with his mental prowess, like without even touching me. But his name is just really hard to say.
What if Yuhan
Yuan.
ever gets bored of being the best programmer in the Northern Hemisphere and wants to try his hand in programming in Japan?
We're still in the
games
Northern
biz.
Hemisphere.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I just noticed that we're not in the
right.
Southern
Yeah,
Hemisphere.
you're
we're in the
right.
Northern Hemisphere.
You're
Wow,
jumping
dude.
ahead, though.
Geography fail.
I am.
We still have to talk about
Douche.
our monsters. Well, our
Was that
big
a
monster
lead into
discovery.
something?
We always
Yeah.
mix and
Well,
mix
because
and match.
that's going to be our big thing at the end.
Okay,
It's like, stay
okay.
tuned to find out
Okay.
Oh, okay,
how
okay.
to make it in the games industry here.
Oh,
in
okay.
Oh, okay, that's the
So-
hook that will keep wriggling until the very end.
Okay.
Okay, right.
Exactly.
Yes.
So now, am I talking
Wriggling.
about feminine hygiene products now?
Yeah.
Let's move on to quickly on to that.
We're talking about edible feminine hygiene.
Even better, fantastic.
So what's this about edible feminine?
Okay, so you
Yeah.
went to Casual Connect.
And I
recently,
casual
right?
connected.
Yeah, you
And it was in Seattle, which is famous for its
You
gay
hooked up.
population, but
There you go.
but it wasn't actually the gay party we thought it was going to be.
Right.
That's
And we ended up
unfortunate.
learning a lot of stuff about casual games. So
Yeah,
that
that's
was fun.
awesome. But you also
about
had
casual gays.
this-
Yeah, casual games. We learned a hell of a lot, and we learned how to connect with them.
Oh, wow. 10% of our listeners are going to be like, dudes.
Anyway,
All right.
Anyway.
what were we talking about?
Yeah.
So Dylan goes to Casual Connect.
With Yessie.
With
With
yes.
Yessie. And
Yessie.
and what did you bring back? As like a really nice present.
Love.
Love. Yeah, you brought that.
Kisses.
I'm not
Big
gonna go
hugs.
there.
Snuggles.
Yeah. A slap on the bum.
Clap.
Clap. I did collect some of the toenail cuttings and brought them back. For
Oh,
you.
that's
Yeah,
lovely.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
But you also brought back something that we could eat.
The toenail things.
Clap.
We don't. Oh, okay. Yes, crumpets. Yes.
No,
crumpets.
douche crumpets.
Well, actually, they were crumpets, but you renamed them in douche crumpets. I mean, it depends how you use them, I suppose.
Dylan, you're not playing along.
No, I'm playing the straight guy.
Playing the straight guy.
Yeah.
With all the casual gays, you were playing the
Yeah, I'm
straight
playing the
guy.
straight guy, and with some crumpets.
Yes.
I had a couple
No,
of
that's trumpets.
I had a couple of crumpets. Actually,
Crumpets.
we call them bit of crumpet. We call that in England, don't we?
But yeah, post-war,
Yeah.
1940s, 1950s, if you saw an attractive lady, you'd be
Well, that's a bit of crumpet.
crumpet.
That's a very London
Yeah.
sort of term, isn't it?
Really?
that's
I didn't know that.
Maybe that is actually rhyming slang for strumpet.
Oh, could be.
Could be.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, have we got any East End listeners out there?
Strumpets.
Was that thing
poor.
cock rhyming slang?
Yeah, but it could be. But that could be.
Yeah.
Rhyming slang, couldn't it? So,
Yeah.
that's
But
nice.
crumpet sounds
not
like
It does sound very
If I was a
London.
girl and I was called Crumpet, I think I'd be quite happy. But
Yeah.
poor.
Or strumpet. Yeah.
But Dylan and Yessie were like
Yessie.
so
Yessie.
nice, and they brought back crumpets and
One pack
douche
each.
crumpets.
yeah, one pack. Yeah,
Douche crumpets.
One
They were
whole
douche
package.
crumpets. Oh, whole package.
Buttered douche crumpet.
Yes, Dylan brought back his package.
Yeah.
Well, they're originally
So
British.
there is a ye olde crumpet shop in Seattle,
Yeah.
like down by the Pike Market.
Yeah, it was called the douche crumpet shop.
Yes, it was. And it's packed. There were actually Americans eating crumpets. So there are Americans out there who know what crumpets are.
Yeah, it
To
was
people
really
in
good.
Seattle.
Yeah, like I,
breakfast though, ain't it? Or around the clock?
Breakfast, everything. You
Round
get
the clock.
salmon and cheese and
Oh, that's awesome.
and jam and anything you want.
that sounds
They had
good.
all kinds of different
Hook it up
variations.
to my video.
I ate them in a week. I was eating like
They're very
one
good.
crumpet a day, one douche
Yeah.
crumpet a day. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Jamin,
Wow.
don't look at me
That
like
must be nice to be single. I came home.
I'm not single. I have no. Okay,
You have your imaginary boyfriend.
That's true,
I have
yeah,
a big
your
announcement.
imaginary
boyfriend.
I-
Your imaginary
have-
boyfriend likes his crumpets.
Yes, he does.
Have you heard of the latest?
He chews them
news?
with his chiseled jaw.
That's right.
About your imaginary boyfriend.
So
It's about your
I
imaginary
mean, there's lots of
We are-
latest news. I mean,
we-
the Americans, they haven't defaulted on their ridiculous debt.
There's big
Yeah,
news. We are now my imaginary boyfriend and I are now Facebook official. So I have
Oh, really?
I have changed my
Isn't that a bit
relationship
dangerous?
status to it's only shared. Well, I guess I'm announcing it here so other people can
They can actually
see.
find out.
But
Uh-oh.
only my friends who are my real friends. I'm sorry if you've tried to friend me on Facebook and I won't
You've
friend
been
you.
rejected.
It's but find me on Google Plus and I'll totally add you there.
And you don't have the
She'll add you
imaginary
to-
boyfriend connection on
No,
Google.
Yeah.
Plus.
so
She'll add you to
so-
like the junk circle.
yeah.
She'll totally add you.
not- it's
Ignore.
not the
Circle of
But,
turns.
but
And no one will realise.
Circle jerk.
But
Idiot.
so it's official. It says in my relationship status.
Yeah.
It says in a relationship. Except of course I can't add who it's with because he's imaginary.
Oh, okay. So it just says in a relationship.
It says
then.
just as in a relationship.
Oh,
'Cause
okay.
He's imaginary,
So
so I
does
can't
that
add
stop
it.
people coming onto you via the private mail?
I don't know. No one.
Or it might turn people on
Actually,
more.
no one really does that on Facebook. The
swingers
It's not like
like it.
mixes.
Although
where you get
someone,
random
if you're
junk
listening,
mails.
someone sent me a message and said they really liked my laugh, and I appreciate that because I
That's
get
nice.
made fun of.
That is nice.
That's nice.
But watch out for your imaginary boyfriend because
Yeah.
he'll kick your ass.
Wait, what did you say about
With
Mixie
his
and
£3
junk?
cup.
Yeah, so you will. Yeah,
People
exactly.
just send you their junk on Mixie?
Yeah, well, they used to. Yeah. I don't use Mixi anymore. so.
Democrat
If Anthony Weiner was on...
Oh, a lot of political jokes. Today.
He's pretty.
humor.
I don't even know who that is.
He's
so.
pretty ripped for a 45-year-old.
Actually,
Yeah,
we were in
He is.
E3 when that.
So, short
Oh,
version of the
okay.
story,
Yeah.
Homeboy's name is Anthony Weiner, and he's sending pictures of his junk to random chicks on the internet.
I'm sure it was junked out. PixelJunk.
Yeah, yeah.
Pixel junked out.
Junked out.
Pixel
I guess,
junked out.
I guess that's true. Well, I'll tell you who else was pixel junked out. So Dylan saw a tweet. This was a while ago. This was like a couple of few weeks back.
Oh,
He saw
that was
it.
great.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that
We're
story.
going to Nagoya.
This is a good story. You
yeah?
hear about this one? You see
No,
this?
So explain.
I'm about
explain
to.
what happened.
Yeah.
So I saw a tweet in Japanese saying that they really loved this person on Twitter. Really loved monsters, and
Right.
and it had a little link on it, and I clicked the link, and it took me to this like basically the equivalent of like a brothel.
Okay, yeah.
You know, like in the West, it'd be like a sort of not quite
homepage,
but not escort. Like you know, it's a bit, but kind of like that, right? Because you know, how I don't know, it's a bit different, isn't it, Japan? But it's the equivalent of a brothel in the West,
right.
And I thought, what? Oh, so it was just spam then? I thought, damn, you know, it's just like they used some random words to like match, you know, monsters with this link to a brothel in Nagoya. And it's spamming. You know, at the top of the picture, there's a picture of this girl in lingerie, and you can like move the mouse over and like get it zoomed up and stuff.
In.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like it shows like what hours she's available and all that kind of stuff. I thought, wow. I wonder how they picked up these words. Like, where'd they get them from? And I scrolled down, and it was actually her like private blog on this page.
Oh.
And she was actually a fan of monsters. And so we sent off some boys from Q Games to like to
interview
her.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, no, we haven't done that yet.
Right.
But,
Yeah.
We got some some volunteers though. They want to go and
Who was it specifically?
and
I
double
want to know
check.
who.
Pretty much all of them.
Was she hot?
Not particularly.
Right,
I mean,
right.
Vaguely.
Vaguely, right.
I mean,
right.
she was a bit fuzzy. The
By
photos were a bit fuzzy.
by Japanese standards, not so much. By Western standards,
Oh,
a
yeah,
goddess.
hot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
goddess.
yeah.
Miss
Yeah.
America,
And apparently
right.
she likes the otaku type.
Well, they all do. They all do. That's how
Right,
they.
right.
That's their
They're
image.
like a type, yeah.
Yeah.
They like to
I'll
go.
So.
have to pay for it.
But I will have to say that Dylan was really excited.
It's kind of cool. So it was our first like sort of like you know subculture
right, reference.
like we finally
Yeah.
got into this sort of one of the subcultures of Japan.
Right.
Since you recommended us to all our hot friends. Or
Yeah, that's
something.
what that's what I hope.
Well, there you go.
I like the fact
I
that.
wonder if we can get discounts. You know.
Yeah, I like the fact you clicked on the link
God.
and it took you to some porn site.
Tuckett's making a very bad face. Sour face.
Doug wants to know the link.
No,
Yeah,
I was making
I
a
can
sour
appreciate
face.
You click on the link,
Yeah.
takes you to the page, and you're like, oh crap, it's a spam link, some kind of porn site. But you don't give up.
Yeah.
You just
Yeah.
continue
look.
to like scroll down. You're like,
you're
what? When no one
zooming
else is
in.
on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. I mean, it's an interesting page.
It's very
And
interesting.
like-
And all her friends are
It
listed
was
up there on the
very
side.
fascinating.
And they
It was a huge
were all
deal.
wearing lingerie as well,
Yeah.
which is kind of cool.
This is a huge deal around the office that everyone starts gathering around like one computer. And it's like, what's going on here?
We were all looking at this picture of a girl in
Oh
lingerie.
god, it was a little sketchy.
But it's great though. It was great that our game, like Monsters, was so popular that it did sort of infiltrate, working girls' life like that, and made her actually interested enough to actually write a blog article on that kind of site. Because you imagine the kind of things they talk about on those kind of sites. I mean, I can't imagine, but like.
I bet you know.
I'm sure you
I don't know. We should have looked at some of the other entries, though, to see what kind of things.
We should definitely do more research.
What kind of panties she's going to wear that day or whatever. But there's just one entry.
Right, so we're right up
monsters.
there with I like it in the arse.
Oh,
I like PixelJunk monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. I think
Right.
maybe we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't think the Japanese sites are that explicit.
No,
I think they're a bit more.
you're right. Yeah,
they're a bit softer.
There's a bit more mystery, I suppose.
Yeah,
if that's the
more,
word.
yeah. But it was definitely I don't know, an interesting like thing. It's like an interesting thing to find.
it made you really happy.
Well, it's interesting. It means that Monsters is actually getting to a lot more people than you'd think. Because
Yeah.
obviously she's not like a regular sort of gamer. Like she's.
No, I think she likes games. I think she put in her hobbies like.
Oh yeah,
games.
well, that's cool.
Yeah.
One of our
Yeah.
hobbies.
Yeah.
Being hot does not preclude you from being interested in games.
That's right.
Most hot girls don't play games though.
I'm
in
sure-
Japan, I
yeah,
mean, in the West, it's much more, a little bit more mixed.
Yeah, they're all
gender.
fat and ugly.
But in Japan, all the girls are out at cafes and
looking
They
good.
put in their hobbies drinking.
walking their chihuahuas,
Hobbies, drink.
that kind of stuff.
One thing though, when everyone was gathered around the computer looking at this, it reminded me of my first job in the game industry, a company called Hypnotics. We used to have daily morning porn meetings. This one guy, John, used to come into work early and he'd research all like the new hot porn and
Right.
gather it up in like presentation format, and we would all gather in the morning and just basically have early morning 9:30 a.m. porn meetings to see like the current state of porn
Are
on the
you
internet for that day.
serious?
Yeah, 100%.
Was this a
Wow.
research thing or was this a hobby?
Oh, it was just a hobby.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it was. It was.
So you brought the tradition here to Q then?
Yeah, pretty much. I originated it.
Very
No,
nice.
Jamin's actually not like that at all. What?
But you can't see his monitor.
Not a word.
That's true. I can't.
That is true.
I can't see his monitor at all.
Yeah,
Yeah, because the other day, Kaylin introduced me to like the jailbait section of the Reddit page.
That's right. That's why they have that partition, right? The
No,
tech team has a partition.
I refuse to believe that Jamin is like that.
They're all behind there.
Maybe I am, maybe I'm not.
No.
The point is that you'll never know because
guess
I'm
just-
behind a wall.
Yeah.
Little chairs wobbling away.
Oh God.
Men do like to
Porn's
play
an
with
interesting
things.
subject, though. I'm probably maybe for
Porn.
another podcast, but the difference between
it's not
Japanese
just
porn
men.
and
To be fair, it's
and
not
Western
just men.
porn.
Yeah.
So that difference for me, Japanese porn does nothing for me.
It's a little crazy.
Nothing.
Oh, I prefer Japanese porn.
I couldn't get softer than soft when I'm watching Japanese porn.
Wow.
It's just absolute. I'd rather have testicle surgery than watch Japanese porn.
So what countries porn
So
do you
you
like the best then?
no, hold on. I want to clarify this.
Yeah.
Are you what specific? Are you talking about like the Enjo Kosai stuff? Are you talking
Okay,
about
you
like
have to
what?
explain what Enjo Kosai is.
It's
It's called subsidized dating. It's basically like where young women go out with older men who pay them to go out with them.
it's how the high school girls afford the latest fashions that they walk around
and the
in.
Gucci bag.
Because
It's kind of illegal.
But does it?
Yeah, right, you're talking
does
about that
it
shit specifically,
Does
or-
it absolutely end?
Not
in
necessarily.
Sex?
It's not
No,
necessarily. That is
right,
not. Yeah.
yeah.
No,
that's
not
it's
necessarily.
not necessarily.
Right. Just-
prostitution.
Is it the mosaic that puts you off?
Oh, well, no, there's mosaic's gone now. I think the internet's
Is it?
pretty much
All
gone
right.
past
Yeah.
the mosaic
Yeah.
stage. Yeah. But it's no. I think it's
Ariel's
the.
she's
it's
obviously seen more recent stuff than I have.
Oh no.
No.
for those of you who can't see
Yeah, you're
this,
totally
Ariel's in the
right.
fetal position right now, underneath her chair.
Ariel probably doesn't even know there was a
face gone bright
mosaic.
red now, yeah.
No idea. There was.
red-
Yeah, the videos I saw last night, they were totally not mosaic. She said.
Yeah. But, no. It's the Japanese porn. It's the reaction of the lady for. The guys are basically props, right?
I mean, it's the same- it's
the
the same
reaction
with,
of the lady,
like,
and
Western
I don't like
pornography.
the reaction of the Japanese lady. I think it looks like she's not particularly having
right.
fun.
Probably, but there's a lot of material out there, though.
Oh no, you're right.
Like,
absolutely.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
a hell of a lot.
Yeah.
There's a wide variety.
Ariel can explain more about that for us.
Yeah. Slate.com. I don't know if you guys
Yeah,
read Slate. It's
Slate.
fantastic.
Yeah,
Absolutely fantastic.
Slate.
Washington Post, I believe it is. And Slate did some research. I don't know how verified it was, but anal sex, because of porn, they're saying, anal sex is through the roof now. You know, it used to be like a
I thought it was through the
minority.
butt.
A minority.
Well, the roof is slang for high touch.
And apparently it used to be a minority hobby. Maybe 10-15% of girls would, through their own volition, I presume. But yeah, sure. But now it's up in the high 30s and stuff like that because it's so. It's just mind blowing. It's
kind of
That is
weird.
kind of mind blowing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
So
Anyway,
Anyway, yes.
there's a nice
Okay.
big section we have to cut out.
If we cannot come up with a title for this podcast, there's something wrong with us.
we have to be very careful.
What we
about
put in, we have to be very.
Okay, coming up.
Ariel was saying how you were listening to the podcast and then all of a sudden you're like playing the classy card like, oh no, that's not proper.
Coming up.
Tell me,
These are the
Ariel,
names-
how are you going to top that?
Did you see the name she put on the podcast a couple of weeks back?
No, what did she put?
No, actually,
What was it
to be
again?
completely fair,
What was that?
That was my podcast idea.
Oh, okay.
It
What was
was-
your fault?
What was
It was-
the title?
Dylan Cuthbert finger fucks Gary Coleman's eye sockets.
No, but that was last episode. That
which
was
one are you
last-
talking about?
It wasn't that. Though.
It was
The
that.
one
I was
before that?
Pixel Spunk.
Pixel Spunk.
Yeah.
It's like, for English people, that's just no.
No, even
It's an
for
expletive. It's an
Americans
expletive in
get the
title.
joke too. At least
No, it means the same thing in America.
But it's not as extreme.
That's why we chose it.
Yeah, in America. Extreme. Extreme. In
But it means
England,
the same thing. Though.
no, but only vaguely in America.
No,
it's
no,
not the same.
It means the same exact thing.
No. But
Man
it's,
paste.
Yeah, that's what it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, but it's only vague. Like it's like you don't use the word.
Oh, we use it a lot.
Yes, but you don't actually use the word in America, which means that you kind of roughly know what the meaning is, but you don't understand like the nuance of how strong it is or what what image it instantly springs to your mind as much. As,
Oh, maybe it
like,
is different
Like
then.
if you put in the title like come,
Yeah.
it's the equivalent. So yeah.
Cheers.
And you wouldn't put that.
Yeah, with
You wouldn't put that in
American
the
version
title.
of
So it's like it's the same.
Gentleman's goo.
Even though you know the meaning, it's like
This
it's a different-
podcast is
Yeah.
going to be called
Yeah.
Breaking into the Game Jizz.
No. Okay.
It's like
the game. Okay.
it's like crap and shit have the same meaning.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
anyway,
So coming up.
The severity.
Right.
We're going to be breaking into the game's jizz. No, biz. And we're also going to be announcing how you can get a Shooter 2, a PixelJunk Shooter 2 game code.
For flea.
Yes, for free.
Perfect. Please.
So going into the break, we're going to have World Ghetto off the HFB PixelJunk album in stores now. Get it on iTunes or the PlayStation Store. Okay, we're back. That was World Ghetto from the HFB PixelJunk album. And also, since we're shameless...
It was such a rocking tune.
Yeah. Yeah. That,
I mean,
Did you say tune?
I was like...
With a CH? Tune?
Tune.
Tune.
We say tune.
Do you really?
Say that.
In England. Tune. Yeah. We don't say tune.
Tune.
Tune is like...
Tune.
Cartoon,
isn't it? Yeah. We say tune.
Okay, so there's a difference. I
So
just
you were
bared that.
rocking.
Tune. I was tapping my foot.
Yeah.
It was
and you may recognize it also. It kind of begins in the same way our podcast intro begins because I got in touch with Dom Beacon of HFB.
Is it actually Beacon?
It's Beacon. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
It's Beacon. So
What do you think it was bacon?
No,
Bacon.
Bacon.
I
We
would
always
think
thought it was
Bacon.
How do you spell it?
Beken.
That's totally Beacon.
It's
It
Beacon.
is. It's Beacon.
I think was he high when he...
No.
His parents. Or...
You have to consult you have to consult PixelJunk Radio. I forget what episode number it is, but I think that was and all that jazzle. You can check that out
jazzle.
in our backlog for an interview that we did with Dom and Alex Patterson.
It's an excellent interview, so you should definitely
Yeah.
listen to that.
Yeah, so go back and
It's not
listen to that.
Patterson, it's Peterson.
No. It could be Peterson, though.
Peterson.
It could be Peterson because it's one
Peterson?
T I do.
Peterson.
The Sausage King of Chicago.
But Alex, he writes his name LX, so maybe he actually wants to be called Edix. I don't know.
That's entirely possible.
I don't know.
But
But anyway,
like
moving on.
Dom made this banging podcast intro from the splash music that was originally in Shooter 2, which he kind of expanded to make our podcast intro.
a really
so
good
thank
intro.
you. Yeah, thanks so much, Dom, for doing that.
Hotness.
Cheers, Dom.
The hotness. So we got a fan mail
The hotness.
from Frodo.
Frodo.
And actually, this email was received at the perfect time because I was
Okay.
thinking about doing this segment on the podcast now anyway. So this is what he says. My Dutch younger cousin asked me how he can get an internship in a Japanese company, preferably a Japanese gaming company. I gave him a list of companies and a couple of pointers, but since I personally haven't made this journey and worked in Japan, I thought that this perhaps could be an interesting discussion for the PixelJunk Radio crew. So the question is, how would a Westerner go about getting his foot in the door in a Japanese company?
Big hairy foot.
Big
hairy
hobbit like
foot.
foot.
Hairy
Yeah.
hobbit foot.
Well, my first bit of advice would be to stop giving your cousin advice if you don't know what you're talking about. If you don't have the experience, why are you giving him pointers?
Why would he ask you?
Yeah.
But
It's
anyway,
like someone asking me, like, how do you break into the
porn industry.
porn industry?
Yeah.
Well,
you probably know that. So
Yeah.
You probably could actually give advice.
£3.
pixelate your face is step
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Okay.
3-foot penis.
Okay, well, since Duncan, you're kind of in
Duncan.
charge of the foreigner recruiting. I know you don't like that word, foreigner. The international recruiting here at Q Games.
Yeah.
And
We
since-
see quite a lot of non-Japanese applications. Yeah, absolutely. No, I suppose it's a silly answer. It's talent, really. Language seems like a big barrier for a lot of people. But if you're an awesome artist and you've really worked hard at your craft, and same for programming, of course, then all companies, not just Japanese companies, will sit up and pay attention.
Yeah.
So language you can learn later.
And I'd say Q Games is pretty unique about letting, like, for instance, planners or game designers, as they're known in other countries, come in with knowing maybe not as much.
Yeah, that's very true. I don't.
Yeah.
What I just
Japanese.
said definitely applies here, but I wouldn't say it would necessarily apply for Capcom or Konami or something
even,
like that.
A lot of smaller.
You have to be good at what you do, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. You have
Well,
to shine
that was an
because
experience.
it has to be worth it for the company in Japan to bring you over from wherever you're coming from, and it's quite a long drawn out process to apply for visas and things like that. So
Yeah.
and you bring in someone from overseas is always a risk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Because
actually,
you might not like it here.
Right.
It's entirely true.
Very unlikely, but you never know.
And
Never
you
know.
might
It's
you
not
might
for
not know it
everyone.
until 6 months or a year later.
Sure.
We did bring over a French Canadian once, didn't we?
Got homesick, right?
And within 6 weeks he left.
That's right.
Wow, that's fast.
He just got homesick.
That's
He'd never lived
fast.
in. Well, I think he lived for like a week or something.
Usually it takes a lot longer for culture shock to set
But he
in.
was a very sort of quiet sort of French Canadian.
Was he upset he had to work more than 3 hours a day?
No, he wasn't French. He was a French Canadian. I think the French Canadians work quite
Okay,
hard.
was he upset
Yeah.
there was no Tim Hortons donuts? Or
Yeah.
I don't know Tim Hortons. That sounds delicious. I love donuts.
Oh, do Tim Hortons like that? It just rocks the donut world.
I have a question actually about Japanese language ability in terms of, like what. Now, there's something called the Japanese language proficiency test.
Yeah.
Japanese people are very focused on like getting qualifications for certain jobs, and like for instance, they have the the English test that you take, where if you get a certain level, kind of 1 is the most difficult level, and it goes to, I think it's still 5, right? For the English,
Aiken, or what they call it, so.
Yeah, 1 is the most difficult, 5 is the easiest to get, and there are kind of some in-between levels thrown in there as well.
Yeah.
And it's very kind of qualification focused, and one of my goals when coming over as an English teacher was to like really buckle down, study, and get level 1 of the Japanese language proficiency test, which is it's made for, for foreigners who are trying to study Japanese. And I'm kind of wondering, like, because when I actually came in for my second interview here, I was like Dylan was there during the second interview.
You passed the first.
No, I had the second at that point because I got the second pretty much right after I came over. But I like studied really hard and had tried the first one right after that, and it didn't go. I didn't pass it
the level.
But I
the
didn't get
JLPT.
number 1.
Okay,
I didn't get number 1 until like actually after I got hired here. Because I'd just taken it.
Yeah.
Before my second interview, and I was like, is this going to be something that's necessary? It was a worry of mine that as I was sending out applications, it's like, is this necessary for me to have to go after? Is that viewed as being good to have? But if you don't have it, does that necessarily mean that you won't get hired or get asked in for an interview? How do you personally view that?
The Q Games?
Yeah.
Don't really give a shit, really.
The job you were hired for, it's just a guide, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you can have 2 and you can have 1, but I know people with JLPT 1 that don't speak as well as you do.
Yeah.
And that's,
I had my moments too,
academic
where
be
I
qualified. No, but you know what I mean. You can explain your way out of situations and communicate fine. So I don't know how accurate a guide to communication is.
It shows like a basic knowledge, doesn't it? That's about it.
Well, number 1 is
ability to memorize
is a high
content.
level,
Yeah. But there's another step after that to become like more natural, isn't
Yeah. That's true.
Well, I mean, you never took a Japanese lesson in your life.
No.
You just learned
Yeah.
from hanging out with girls.
Yeah.
So
Exactly. That's
I mean,
the
I
best way
think-
to learn.
Yeah.
I think it's a good kind of goal to shoot for, to try to study if that's what motivates you to study, but at the same time there are people who don't like taking tests or who can't really take tests very well.
Well, there's nothing else. That's the thing with it. Studying
Yeah.
English, you can do Aiken, you can do TOEFL, you can do TOEIC, you can do the Cambridge Proficiency exams. There's all sorts of choice for you, right? And some of them have oral components, and some of them have written components and all that sort of.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, thank you, Damon.
And but in Japan, JLPT
sneaker.
is it.
no, there's 2. There's the JLPT and there's the JETRO test.
Well, there's the JETRO
JETRO
test
for business
for
Japanese.
business test.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
you're
right.
right. Well, I've said both of those.
I've never seen anyone with a
done
JETRO
both.
test.
Yes,
so-
there's
I
much-
have a JETRO one. Yeah,
Alright.
I only know because I
Is
had
it
a
much more
whitey friend who
difficult, or
worked
is
for
it
just
Same
JETRO.
thing.
business orientated.
Have you got a JLPT one then?
I got 2001. I got
Oh, right.
level 1.
Wow.
And JETRO the same year. So it
Oh,
was,
okay.
yeah, it was a while back, but
Yeah.
I haven't even got a 4.
I know. It just goes to show you.
It's just you just don't need it.
Yeah,
isn't it?
I mean, when I got my 1, it was actually the month after I started working here, and it actually meant it was so anticlimactic because it was a goal that I'd been working towards, and it didn't mean anything anymore.
because you got the job.
You can get hired now.
I got the job, and I had studied a lot, and I learned a lot, but the problem was that after I started, I was working so much that I really need to go back to studying some more because you just lose stuff, and it's like, oh.
One criticism of the JLPT that they've addressed, I think, this is much more when I sat it and not so much when you sat it,
they've revamped it.
is that
like
a Chinese
2 years
person
ago.
could basically turn up with quite minimal Japanese and just rock the test because it has so much kanji on it, and if you're a Chinese person that can read Chinese characters, you can fly through that test. And basically, 80% of it right. And you'll get your number 1 or whatever, but you won't really be able to speak Japanese.
That is the case. And you see when you go in to sit like a level 1 JLPT, like there will be one other like Caucasian foreigner there.
Right.
It's so just so you know, if you're worried about your Japanese ability, that's not the most important thing. It's your talent. If you're thinking about trying to apply, at Q Games or at other Japanese companies, then display your knowledge.
Well, if you think about it, the way I said before, if you're trying to get in based on Japanese skills, there's an entire island of people who currently do and forever will speak Japanese better than you do, and we're not going to hire them. So, don't try to compete on that.
Yeah, that's a really good point, actually.
Well, but speaking Japanese is useful.
Though. It's useful, but I'm just saying, don't think that, I speak Japanese half as well as a native, is something to brag about that's going to get you in alone.
You have to bring something
yeah,
else to the table
Yeah.
because your Japanese skill isn't going
Yes.
to be
Yeah,
it.
definitely.
like
And-
programming skill, art skill, a large block of cheese,
Money.
money,
Yeah, I think that.
connections.
Yeah, we're quite easily bribed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're cheap dates.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also someone, I think it's important to emphasize the point of studying Japanese, after you get that email or message that says like you got the job, that's really important, and also,
Well, the key though is just to make sure you speak as much Japanese as possible, and also like at Q Games, we have a BBS and stuff, don't we? Bulletin board system and stuff. Then it's all in Japanese.
yeah, pretty
And
much.
So a lot of people kind of skip some of it, but it's actually worth their time to actually, because in Japanese, they can't quite fully understand Japanese yet, but it's much better to actually just spend the time and actually read all the Japanese that's in there that goes up on the BBS.
Yeah, there's a
That's
lot of
relevant
stuff
to
in
you,
there.
obviously.
Yeah.
I actually heard that someone on the tech team, I won't name names,
Is it you?
no, it's not me,
Okay.
used to rely on Jerome, because we would get emails from Sony, and used to rely on Jerome to like translate everything. He just wouldn't do anything until Jerome translated it, and then he would
Really?
Yeah.
act upon that.
Yeah.
That's kind of rough.
Yeah.
That is kind of rough. And it is kind of, one of my kind of, like, duties around here is to, like recently we got Jake Campbell, right, to come on as an intern, and he doesn't really speak much Japanese.
Who is in now the episode 2 before this one, right?
12. Yeah,
Yeah.
who's in
Yeah,
episode 12.
He's the Nikumon Fireball guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
That
Definitely
was
listen to that one, because that's a classic as well.
Yeah.
So he comes over, and while he started studying Japanese, like, he got katakana and hiragana down on the plane over here, which is definitely a good start. And he's still like learning. He's still here short term.
He's really enjoying himself.
Yeah, he is.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
he
he's
is.
Many people have been showing him a good time.
Yeah.
so if that was an awkward transition, it's because I had to cut something out that was I had to cut out. No, actually, I kind of wanted to talk about the Japanese applications process.
Yeah.
Now, if you're a foreigner applying from abroad, you probably don't have to deal with this, but I was an American applying from within Japan.
Yeah.
And usually what this means is that, like, if you're looking for Japanese jobs, you have to write direksho,
Yeah.
which is the Japanese word for kind of a CV.
Oh, CV,
Only it's
curriculum vitae.
handwritten.
Yeah.
It's all handwritten.
Yeah.
And you have to use this form. You buy these forms at like a stationery store or wherever. And then you have to handwrite these things to send out to every company you want to
With a
apply
photo.
for. With a photo. You have to take like a very formal photo with like a suit and and then you have to send it in. And this is a painstaking process.
But I have to say this, but the Japanese CV system, the way they have that, it's far more informative than any CV we've got from a Westerner.
Is it really?
Yeah, I mean, the amount of information that's crammed in, you can tell. I mean, if they haven't written much, then obviously that's crap.
How was
Attempt.
my direksho?
I can't remember actually.
Because I
It was forgettable, is what he was trying to
I
say.
can't remember. That's one. Yeah.
But you have
No,
to
but-
write like what junior high school you graduated from.
Yeah.
Like-
Yeah.
And like when you graduated
But
from.
there's no bullshit in the Japanese resume, is there?
No.
No, there's
So, I mean,
not.
you
It's very
you
to
can't
the
fluff
point.
that.
Yeah,
right? You
it's very
can't-
to the point.
You know.
Yeah. But there's the little bits on the back that are saying, what kind of hobbies.
Hobbies,
you have and
yeah.
stuff, and-
That is true.
And it's like where you can write stuff about the company that you're applying to.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah.
And if there's what we look for on one of those is if there's actually a mention about games or
Right.
or or rather they're just copying. They're just copying this standard
Right.
CVs of all the companies,
For the 20 that
which is
they're-
what you get from pretty much all Western people.
Right.
It's just like this printout. There's like no effort at all.
Yeah,
And,
it's not customized to the company you're
Yeah,
applying
yeah,
for.
and also you can tell a lot from the handwriting. I mean, some people complain about that, but
It's really annoying.
but you can tell a lot about personality from handwriting.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter if it's really scruffy as long as there's some order to the scruffiness.
Yeah, and also like if you make a mistake,
Yeah.
then you basically have to start all over again because if you like have some whiteout on there, then that
Yeah.
shows like, oh, you didn't put forth enough effort.
Yes, we
to
had
start
one.
over.
Yeah, we had one like 5. Like that sort of whiteout stuff. Like in 5 places. It's just
Yeah.
like why didn't they read?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it just shows a lack of effort,
Yeah.
a lack of interest.
I will tell you though, you have to think really hard about where you want to apply.
Yeah, which is that's good.
Which that is good. At the same time, it took a lot of time for me.
It stops people spamming, doesn't it?
It's true because you can't just like print out papers,
No.
and, like sign it, stick it in an envelope, and send it. You have
That's
to really
much-
be thoughtful about.
I think that's probably better, really. I mean, in the West, people just like send their CVs out like blanket,
Mass,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah,
which is ridiculous.
Mass mail.
Shotgun.
it's true.
And you don't get noticed as much as well when you get those sort of like vanilla CVs that arrive.
Yeah.
You know, but the Japanese ones, when they arrive, they're interesting to look at. You know, because you've got a photo of the person. You know, they've got this history in there, like the schools they went to, or whatever. There might be maybe they went to a school that was in the hometown of someone here at Kew, or something.
Oh,
you know,
yeah,
something
yeah.
Like, so there's lots of things you can find a connection with,
Right.
and so that makes a big difference. You know.
Yeah.
Whereas you see the Western ones, there's not so much personal information in there.
Yeah. Although some people put like, I remember when I was applying for jobs initially in America, I had a place for my hobbies and
Oh no, there's sometimes
Yeah.
yeah.
You
So the
see
people who
some
don't
of
do
those.
that are really silly. You know, even on the Western CVs, you can do that.
Yeah, yeah,
and some people don't do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically, when you're writing a CV for any company, even in the West, the key to getting a job is showing as much of your personality as possible. I think, or you know, the personal, what you've done personally. You know, what motivates you. You know, what's
Right.
interesting to you. You know, like if you were in a band at university or high school or whatever, then put it in there because it's
Right.
interesting. It'll make it stand out from the other people who didn't put it in there.
Take notes, people.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true.
Are you writing this
It's
down?
really good advice.
It is.
Get out your
It's all
iPads.
in.
Yeah.
It's not following. When you write a CV, it's not about following this like standard thing as much. It's more about actually doing a bit of a brain dump in there of what you are.
And if you like games, and that's why you work in games, put that in there. Talk about how much you like games.
Yeah. I mean, definitely the first page, should be like your academic qualification, your experience, but then everything else should just be as much as you can, as much about yourself.
Well, I think there's at least in America, there's kind of like a one-page rule where it's like you have to try to get everything on one page.
All the important stuff. I think.
But
I think that's the difference between resume and CV. Is that everyone always told me resume is one page,
true.
CV is
the
like
CV you can,
a large library of all the crap that you've done over the past 50 years.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So
I don't know if that's true.
And CV stands for?
Curriculum vita.
Yeah.
is it
Curriculum vitae.
Vita.
Is it pronounced vitae?
I think it's
Vitae, I don't know.
Vitae.
Vitae.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like the
I did not learn
French
any Latin.
PlayStation Portable.
But anyway, the thing is, you've got to make yourself stand out from the others. So
Yeah.
So you have to really, really trawl the depths of your history and your experience to do that. So get everything in there. There could be some little simple thing that you probably wouldn't think much about, but it might find a connection with the person who's reading it.
The thing is, that won't get you the job, though. It will just get you to the next stage.
Yeah,
right?
but that's important.
Which is
Yeah, that's the
consideration,
important
right?
stuff.
That's
Yeah.
50% there.
And then it is the interview, and then it's up to you. So.
Yeah.
You have to have the goods to back it up.
Now, what are you looking at in a second interview?
Second interview.
Is it just like a personality thing? Like, would this person mesh well
like
with
more.
us?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes we just do a one interview. Sometimes we do two. Like for a programmer, for example, it's not so necessary to do two interviews. For example, we already do a
They're
programming
all
test.
antisocial anyway.
Yeah, we have a programming test, so it kind of
Yeah.
But yeah, you can't really get much out of the
It's a
personality
skill
beyond that.
based
So,
I did 2 interviews.
job.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, the first one was James and Jerome. We did it over Skype.
Oh, okay.
And the second one, you pulled in Nishikawa-san and
okay.
Yoshida-san. And
Oh, really?
just kinda-
Sounds
yeah.
like that.
okay.
Was
I
that
was sitting
scary?
there. Oh my god! I'm like in a chair.
rocking.
I must have
You're
looked
rocking.
autistic because I'm like rocking back and forth, going like.
Actually, when I initially applied to Q Games, and I got my first interview, I did the first interview over Skype initially when I was still living up north,
Okay.
where I lived up north.
You probably didn't know, were you?
Yeah.
And I thought I failed it.
All right.
I thought that was the first interview I ever did, and it was like the worst that I thought. And I failed.
Well, the question's pretty piercing, were they?
I think it was more like, I don't think, because you had all this enthusiasm and stuff like that, and I think on the
Exactly.
Japanese side, they didn't really know what questions to give you, because the enthusiasm, and you had a little experience in America.
Yeah, but it was
You had
very
a lot
little.
of drive, right?
Yeah.
And I think on the Western side, you pick up on the drive, but on the Japanese side, they're just like, I don't know what to ask this girl.
Because it was with Tomi-san, who is now my direct boss.
Yeah,
He's the
right.
director
Yeah.
of
He's like, I
the
don't
Yoshida-san
know
was
what
there, who's the producer.
Yeah.
And who who else was
I'm
it?
trying to think.
I was trying to think. Was it Maeda-san or Nishikawa-san?
Maybe
Maeda.
Maeda, yeah,
Maeda-san.
that's right. Yeah, Maeda-san's doesn't have many words.
Yeah, he
anyway,
didn't.
Right? He doesn't
Yeah, he
say
didn't
too much in
ask
interviews.
Too much,
Yeah.
But sometimes he
He
asks
doesn't talk
quite
in real
pointed
life.
questions.
Right. Yeah.
So.
I mean, maybe he just doesn't have
Just
anything
what-
to say to me, but I've never seen Maita talk. I don't even know what his voice sounds like.
He just doesn't.
he works
Because he
on
just don't
the
push his
team.
buttons.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought I didn't do very well. I was asked some questions that I wasn't necessarily expecting. So
You said one thing I think that was very good. I don't know if it was the first interview or the second interview, but you said you were mami no hito. And you
yeah.
give anything a try, right? I suppose, or something.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
put your hand to anything, or something like that. Some sort of phrasing. And I think that was very good.
okay, well, the point is I didn't fail the first interview, and I got a second chance,
Yeah.
and then I came in. So okay, yeah, I ended up being great, and then Jamin came.
But you had energy. One thing I should say that you had energy and positive
Yeah,
attitude.
yeah.
And it sounds crazy, but we've had interviews here.
Yeah.
Where you think you get to the interview stage and you kind of think in a way that all you've got to do, this is now yours to screw up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you're just going to present yourself as a normal human being.
That's all you have to do,
If you're in the
yeah.
interview, then you've got to
Just be natural.
hold it together for
Yeah.
half an hour, man. You know, you can be as weird as you want in the car park, but
Yeah.
What are you?
but some people can't even they don't bring any personality, or there's no energy, or something. I'm like,
The guy that we interviewed a few months back.
This-
Wait, no,
Like,
mention
like
names.
really,
Yeah,
really
try
nice
not to
demo.
bring
Good.
it
No, I'm not gonna mention
but
names.
you know what? Yeah, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying, right?
good-
Yeah,
good
because we
demos.
were
Yeah,
sitting in there,
exactly.
we were like.
Yeah, we're like, so what's the coolest thing you've ever done technologically? And he's like, I don't know, stuff. and
So we're like,
we're like, oh,
I want to give you this job, mate. but you're not-
dude,
You're not really working with this.
you're really impressive. Just
on paper.
just say something cool.
He flew through the test, right? On
Yeah.
paper,
Yeah,
he looked great.
yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
But
So that's another good point. Is that skill super important, but if the love for what you're doing doesn't actually show through, it kind of like negates
Yeah.
the extreme skill portion.
Yes.
Yeah,
To some
yeah,
degree.
I guess that's true. Okay, well, I think we beat that horse pretty dead. I think it was pretty instructional though. So let's move on to the Shooter 2 code giveaway contest. Here's the deal: if you write a review for us on iTunes, it can be short and sweet. It doesn't have to be anything detailed. Just write a review. Copy paste that review. Send it to podcast@q-games.com. Not podcasts at q-games.com. Podcast.
There's some
We're
podcasts.
getting some podcast.
Yeah.
Well, if we did, we wouldn't know.
Then we would know it.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Podcast.
Podcast. Be careful about the spelling. At q-games.com. And I will enter you in for a chance to win a PixelJunk Shooter 2 code. Sound like a sweet deal? Like for,
A few minutes.
a minute or two of your time.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's pretty sweet. You can gift
Basically,
it.
we want more people to listen to the podcast.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, and writing
You
a
know how
review-
cool it is.
Yeah. Writing a review really, like, if you have a lot of reviews all of a sudden, then that means that you get more of a chance to get featured in iTunes.
So your popularity goes up.
So if you have any questions, please send them to podcast@q-games.com. Visit our forums at pixeljunk.jp. You can follow us on Twitter at pixeljunknews and at pixeljunkradio. You can follow me on Twitter at Arielotti, Arielotti. No, don't do Jamin. Jamin, don't follow Jamin. We have a bet going.
She and I are
I bet that has
currently.
a reverse effect. I bet people actually go and look
Yeah,
up
yeah,
James.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She and I are currently
should-
locked in Mortal Kombat to be the first to
1,000
followers.
We're getting pretty close.
What
now.
numbers are you at?
Finish it.
8 something.
All right, you're about 800 then.
I'm a 600.
It's kind of getting close.
Yeah, it's getting close. I have more momentum, so we'll see.
Yeah. That's what.
Okay. Dylan, what's your Twitter?
DYLANTTHBERT.
And Duncan.
At Dunkflet, DUNQFLETT.
Okay. You can like us on Facebook at PixelJunk or at PixelJunk Radio. And until next time, peace, love, and PixelJunk.
Cheers.
Okay,
Cheers.
So I went in there, and what happens is he was regaling. I walked in the middle of the conversation, so I don't know exactly what it was
Right.
about, but it was something about cockroaches, and it wasn't the same story as he did last time.
Oh, yeah.
He was talking about cockroaches, and then I'm like, oh, so we're ready to do the test, and he's like, oh, 5 minutes. So I told him I'm not sure how much longer Jamin will restrain himself.
Well,
and not
no,
eat the
we're just-
cheese.
we're just-
And he said that if you eat it all, then you're fired.
I'm gonna leave one.
You know what? I didn't like my job that much.
I'm gonna leave one stick.
Well, it's best to eat more of it now.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, because then it don't look bad, you know.
Yeah.
Well, just because it like that's less time that we have to like go.
He didn't see
God.
the original mass,
This
right?
is like
Yeah,
crack.
that's true.
This is like
It's
f***ing
Thank
crack
God
to me.
it's good.
You gotta,
Holy shit.
you gotta put this bit on the end of the podcast, so you won't have any idea, right?
Yeah.
No, but how big this f***ing plate of cheese was.
It was like a mountain of cheese, and now it's all gone.
And didn't get there. There'll be 3
Yeah, we
bits.
have to save the story about this.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah, so to Mike Acton and everyone out there who works for game companies, if you guys want to hire me, apparently I'll be on the market soon.
Yeah.
So after Dylan fires me for eating all the cheese.
Maybe LucasArts is hiring.